So this is a rhetoric that's happening. So we have the Quran for a reason. Yes? We have the Quran for a reason. And the Quran is supposed to be a guide, an example of how we should live our lives. But not only that, it's also examples of what to do when certain things happen. It's also examples of what will you experience in life. So I'm going to give the story of Musa alayhi salam actually echoes a lot of what's happening right now. The story of Musa, Prophet Moses alayhi salam. So one thing is that we know that Pharaoh, who generally had a hold on the public, we know that. And he was the one with the entirety of power was in his hands. He was the one who could snap his fingers and order the killing of multiple babies. And no one would blink an eye. Why? Because that's how much power he had cemented himself. Right? He was Pharaoh. And not only was he Pharaoh in their eyes, he was also God. So then that means whatever God says goes, right? In their eyes. So Pharaoh had established himself as a ruler, but not only that, he says, the Quran mentions, "Ana rabbukum al-a'la." I am your highest Lord. Right? So what does that mean? That what I do is godly. You have to think about this. What type of psychology is he putting on the people? Right? When he proclaims that he is God. Yes? And this is important. He's proclaiming that he is God. So therefore, if God commands something, then what? You have to do it. Right? This is the kind of training that Pharaoh is giving to his people. Ana rabbukum al-a'la. So the command for people was not only to obey Pharaoh, it was also to worship him. It was also to what? Worship him. So what does that do to the person that's looking at that individual, the subject? How does that change when that person says something? So we know that Pharaoh had instilled the idea in these people that you need to listen to me. And that if you don't, there are severe consequences. How do we know this? Because, and we have to think about this, okay? These are the points to internalize, not just be like, okay, this is a nice story. We have to internalize these points. So think about this. Pharaoh, according to some, the scholars of tafsir, they mentioned that when there was someone that had a dream, that Pharaoh's seat would be taken from these people, the Bani Israel. Okay. In his mind, no one's going to take my power away from me. Right? He valued his power, his seat, his throne, his ability of control above everything else. For him, this was the pinnacle of where he reached, and this is where he was going to stay, and no one was going to take that away from him. So when he gets even an inkling that there are individuals that can steal my power away, steal my influence away, I have to get rid of that problem. So what does happen? And I want you to think about an ayah before we continue the story. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says in the Quran, وَمَكَرُوا وَمَكَرَ اللَّهِ, that people will plan. Individuals will plan. They will plot. They will scheme. وَمَكَرَ اللَّهِ, and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will plan. وَاللَّهُ خَيْرُ الْمَاكِرِينَ, and Allah is the best of planners. Okay, now I want us to take this ayah, this verse, and put a pin in it in our head as we continue what we're talking about. So, Pharaoh gets wind that there are people that might take a seat. There might be a boy that might come from this area and he will take my power away from me. How dare he? So what should I do? Right? For him, it was a simple answer. If there's a boy that's going to be born from here, kill all the boys. I'll just make an order now. Everyone needs to that will kill all the baby boys and will leave the girls alive. So think about what that did to a people. So that means he had his soldiers go around looking for women that were pregnant, waiting for their delivery date. Think about this. How did he do this? Waiting for their delivery date and slaughtering their children in front of their eyes. What does that do to a people when the mothers, those fathers, those families that watch literally their children being snatched away from them and slaughtered? And not like an older person, not someone who's 12, 14, 15, 20, 25. for like someone who just was born. What would that do to a mother? Only a mother could answer that question. Right? What could that do to a father? Only a father could answer that question. And more so people who have lost people. So Pharaoh does this. And the thing is, what do we say? Allah is the best of planners. And so Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala makes it that He's going to bring Musa alayhi salam into the house of the individual who made that order and have him be raised there. And not only that, Allah will eventually take this person and send, after he goes away for a while. He tells Moses, okay, you're away, and he's gone through this training of, he's been like kind of working for 10 years, he's raised a family. Now what, Musa alayhi salam, you're a prophet. You have a bigger responsibility. اذهب إلى فرعون إنه طغى. Go back to Pharaoh. Why? Because he's transgressed. Is that an easy job or a hard job? Think about what happened to Musa this whole time. He was in that house, then he eventually left. He had to leave because he accidentally killed someone. So he became a fugitive of the state. So he's away from that area, and now Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is saying, nope, go right back. اذهب إلى فرعون إنه طغى. And then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala also tells him and his brother, فَقُولَا لَهُ قَوْلًا لَيِّنًا. That not only do you go back, speak to him softly. It's like, what? If there's a command given, to someone like me, I'd be, what? That doesn't make any sense. You want me to go to the biggest tyrant in the world. You want me to go to someone who's actively oppressed my people, and you want me to speak to him softly? Why لَعَلَّهُ يَتَذَكَّرُ أَوْ يَخْشَى. Perhaps he may remember his objective. Perhaps he may start to fear Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So Allah is giving Musa, Prophet Moses, a momentous task. To go back and remind this individual that what they're doing is wrong. Meaning, walk into the throne room of the Pharaoh, let him know, by the way, what you're doing is wrong. By the way, I want you to stop telling people to worship you and worship only Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Now think about that for a second. Is that an easy job or a hard job? So it was a very hard job. We didn't talk about having a hard job description. This is a very hard job description. Go tell the tyrant of your time that what he's doing is wrong. So Musa alayhi salam, he calls him. I wanted to highlight one specific scene. Eventually time passes. And Pharaoh, as he's seeing Musa alayhi salam, like what happens with the prophets, they start to appeal to people because they appeal to the heart. Right? They're not appealing to wealth. They're not calling to wealth. They're not calling to influence. They're not calling to that you will make a lot of money by following me. You're going to be the richest person by following me. No, it's that you will find your tranquility and you'll find Allah. And that in turn will make your life better. So what happens? So Pharaoh, he wants to make a big point. He wants to gather everyone. Right? He wants to gather everyone, wants to make a big spectacle. What I'm going to do, Musa alayhi salam, okay, let's figure out who's on the truth. Let's make a show out of it. We'll have the entire people watching. Here is Pharaoh's media campaign. This was his media campaign. What was his media campaign? I'm going to have my team of sorcerers come, and you are going to come, and we're going to have all these people come around, gather, and what's going to happen is there's going to be a contest, and whoever wins the contest is on the truth. Okay? And the Quran mentions, قَالَ أَلْقُوا. So Musa alayhi salam tells them, go ahead. Throw your staff down. Let's see what happens. فَلَمَّا أَلْقَوْا سَحَرُوا أَعْيُنَ النَّاسِ وَاسْتَرْهَبُوهُم وَجَاءُوا بِسِحْرٍ عَظِيمٍ وَأَوْحَيْنَا إِلَى مُوسَى أَنْ أَلْقِ عَصَاكَ فَإِذَا هِيَ تَلْقَفُ مَا يَأْفِكُونَ. They did whatever they wanted to do, and Musa alayhi salam did what he did, and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala showed the people that Musa alayhi salam is victorious. And he came out on top. فَوَقَعَ الْحَقُّ وَبَطَلَ مَا كَانُوا يَعْمَلُونَ. Whatever they did was in vain. So what happens after that? This is the really powerful part. Okay, what was Pharaoh's intent behind this? Okay, then this is the ayah that's going to really be a mic drop moment for us. What was Pharaoh's intent by gathering everybody? His intent was, I'm going to gather everyone in the land. My sorcerers will defeat Musa alayhi salam, and as a result, his influence amongst the people, his claim to be a true prophet will disappear. And this problem, I won't have to deal with Musa alayhi salam anymore. This will be just another issue that I got rid of. Okay? And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, after the sorcerers witnessed what they saw, the miracle of Musa alayhi salam, Moses, أُلْقِيَ السَّحَرَةُ سَاجِدِينَ قَالُوا آمَنَّا بِرَبِّ الْعَالَمِينَ رَبِّ مُوسَى وَهَارُونَ. The sorcerers fell into prostration. And they said, آمَنَّا بِرَبِّ الْعَالَمِينَ. We believe in the Lord of the worlds. And not only that, Rabbi Musa wa Harun. We believe in the Lord of Musa alayhi salam, the Lord of Moses, and the Lord of Harun. So his objective was to get people away from his influence. Now you have the entire people coming out, and now the people that were supposed to disprove Musa are now prostrating to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and saying and proclaiming to everybody that we believe in and think about the wording that the Quran has recorded and what they said and what that does to everyone. That not only do we believe in the Lord of the worlds, we believe specifically in the Lord of Musa and Harun. Meaning what? That what Musa and Harun are saying is true. وَمَكَرُوا وَمَكَرُ اللَّهِ. They plan and Allah plans. You see how that ayah fits here? They plan and Allah plans. And so, when that happens, Pharaoh now feels threatened. Because what happens, he just made a whole show, he made a big media campaign, everyone needs to come out, bring your families, everyone needs to come out. See the defeat of Musa before your eyes, see who's on the truth. قَالَ فِرْعَوْنَ. Look at this individual, and the Quran shows psychology of rulers, of tyrants. Look what he says. أَآمَنْتُمْ بِهِ قَبْلَ أَنْ أَذَنَ لَكُمْ. How dare you believe in him before I give you permission? Subhanallah. How dare you believe in him? أَآمَنْتُمْ بِهِ. You believed in him? قَبْلَ أَنْ أَذَنَ لَكُمْ. Before I give you permission? Because what is he? According to himself, I'm what? I'm the Lord. How are you going to believe in another Lord? I'm Lord. Na'udhu billah. And then look what he says. Look how he twists it. إِنَّ هَذَا لَمَكْرٌ مَكَرْتُمُوهُ فِي الْمَدِينَةِ. This is surely a plot. You guys got together. You guys did this yourselves. Because now he has to protect his kingdom. إِنَّ هَذَا لَمَكْرٌ مَكَرْتُمُوهُ. And just like we've seen, when people start losing control of the narrative, they'll just start saying anything. That's what's happening right now. إِنَّ هَذَا لَمَكْرٌ مَكَرْتُمُوهُ فِي الْمَدِينَةِ. He says this must be a conspiracy. Conspiracists. You guys devised this. You guys got together. Why? لِتُخْرِجُوا مِنْهَا أَهْلَهَا. Look what he makes it seem like. Now these people are crazy. You guys got together, you devised something. Why? So you could get rid of the people and kick people out. فَسَوْفَ تَعْلَمُونَ. But soon you will see. What is he saying? Now it's a threat. Oh, you're not going to listen to me. Oh, you guys are the bad guys. You see what he's doing? Right? He's not saying that, oh, you guys are wrong. You guys are the bad guys. You guys are the ones who are devising. You're trying to get rid of us. You're trying to kick us out. So what does he say? He's like, I gotta really kill this. And Pharaoh's natural go-to is violence. So what does he say? He says, لَأُقَطِّعَنَّ أَيْدِيَكُمْ وَأَرْجُلَكُمْ مِنْ خِلَافٍ ثُمَّ لَأُصَلِّبَنَّكُمْ أَجْمَعِينَ. I'm going to chop off your hands. I'm going to chop off your feet. Then not only that, I'm going to hang you. I'm going to crucify you in front of everybody. Why? So then people know this is what happens when you go against Pharaoh. And so now it's really clear to everybody that you stand with Musa, you stand with the truth, this is what's going to happen to you. This is what's going to happen to you. This is what's going to happen to your children. This is what's going to happen to any family member that dares go against the Lord of the land. And so, even more so, again, I'm mentioning these things for a reason, okay? Then even more so, look how the other people around him are spinning it for Pharaoh. وَقَالَ الْمَلَأُ مِنْ قَوْمِ فِرْعَوْنَ. So the chiefs of Pharaoh's people protested. They said, أَتَذَرُ مُوسَى وَقَوْمَهُ لِيُفْسِدُوا فِي الْأَرْضِ? Are you going to let Musa and his people cause corruption on the earth? What do they say? They're the ones causing corruption. The irony. The people that made the legal rule to kill all the baby boys are saying that Musa and his people are causing corruption, not us. أَتَذَرُ مُوسَى وَقَوْمَهُ لِيُفْسِدُوا فِي الْأَرْضِ وَيَذَرَكَ وَآلِهَتَكَ. And they said, free, are you going to leave them free to spread corruption on the land and abandon you on your gods? And what does he respond? He responds with what I just said, سَنُقَتِّلُ أَبْنَاءَهُم وَنَسْتَحْيِي نِسَاءَهُم. Okay, we got to make an example even more. I'm going to kill all their sons again. وَنَسْتَحْيِي نِسَاءَهُم. We'll leave their women alive, but all their sons are going to die. وَإِنَّا فَوْقَهُمْ قَاهِرُونَ. And we will completely dominate them. This is the Quran telling us specifically the rhetoric of Pharaoh in regards to the people that he wanted to keep under his thumb. So he says, not only I'm going to make an example out of the people that are against me, I'm also going to kill their sons. And remember, this is the second time now that Prophet Musa is that Pharaoh is making this law. And the scholars of tafsir mention, why did he do this again? Because he already did it before and then he stopped. But why did he do it again? Because this time it was about breaking these people down. This time it was about breaking the spirits of those people. This time there was no, someone's about to take my seat. There's no prophecy at this point. What is it now? Is that he fears losing his control, fears losing his influence. And Musa tells his people something. قال موسى لقومه استعينوا بالله واصبروا إن الأرض لله يورثها من يشاء من عباده. He mentions three things. He says, number one, seek assistance, seek Allah's help, and be patient. Why? And this part is really important. إن الأرض لله. The entire world belongs to who? Belongs to Allah. And not only that, يُورِثُهَا مَن يَشَاءُ مِنْ عِبَادِهِ. He'll give it to whomever He wills. وَالْعَاقِبَةُ لِلْمُتَّقِينَ. And the ultimate outcome is given to those who are righteous. So remember something, brothers and sisters. The fight for truth, the fight between good and evil, is not something that just started happening in 2023. It's been happening since the beginning. From the time Shaitan wanted to get Adam a.s. out of heaven, he made it very clear, لَأُغْوِيَنَّهُمْ أَجْمَعِينَ, that I am going to mislead everyone. Not one or two people, I'm going to mislead everyone. Ya Allah, this is my promise, and this is Shaitan. إِنَّ الشَّيْطَانَ لَكُمْ عَدُوًا فَاتَّخِذُوهُ عَدُوًا. Indeed, the devil is an enemy. Allah is saying, so فَاتَّخِذُوهُ عَدُوًا, make sure you take him as an enemy. So that means, actively, we have an enemy that's around us all the time, whose purpose in life, whose mission is to make sure that everyone in this masjid does not make it to heaven. That's his mission. And he's going to use every avenue possible. He may use a phone. He may use social media. He may use the news. He may use an army to create despondency in the people, to create this sense of hopelessness in the people. Anything to make sure we don't make it to heaven. That is Shaitan's job. That is what he said he's going to do. So, what we learn from this story is, one, that what is on us, what is our responsibility? To do what is in our control. To do what we can. And sometimes someone might be like, sharing something, or, calling a representative, or emailing someone and asking them, to do something. This is not much. This is not much. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala mentions, actually, by the way, the more you share stuff on social media, the more the narrative goes out, right? So everyone uses media as a tool. So don't ever undermine that, if we don't consistently share stuff, that it's just going to not do anything. The more people share, the more it will go out to people, right? So social media is a good thing and it can be a bad thing, but it can be a really good thing as well. But the point there's an ayah in the Quran that I wanted to highlight about this. That doing even something small, but doing it with a really, really big intention. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says in the Quran, imagine like someone gets into paradise and someone makes it, someone finally gets there. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, and they'll be told, Inna hadha kana lakum jaza'a. All this, everything that you see in front of you is surely a reward for you. Now imagine yourself being there. All this is surely for you. And the beautiful part about this ayah, وَكَانَ سَعْيُكُمْ مَشْكُورًا. Very, subhanAllah, very beautiful ayah. Allah is saying that this entire paradise you see in front of you, this is your reward. وَكَانَ سَعْيُكُمْ مَشْكُورًا is a beautiful ayah. وَكَانَ سَعْيُكُمْ مَشْكُورًا means, and your striving, your struggle, your fight for the truth, you standing up for what is right even when it was difficult, you speaking out against oppression, you standing in salah every single day, you standing for the honor of the Prophet ﷺ, you doing what you have to do, all that striving and that struggle and the heartache and the struggle and the people dying around you and everything that's happened throughout your life and all the difficulties that you went through, and you did it all in my name. You did it all for Allah. وَكَانَ سَعْيُكُمْ مَشْكُورًا. Your striving is appreciated. Your striving is what? Appreciated. You know, someone who's an elder, someone who you look up to, someone who maybe is a role model for you, if that person, pats you on the back and says, you did an amazing job. I'm really impressed by what you just did. Right? There's a sense of like, wow, I did it. Like for a parent, when they tell their child, mashallah, you did an amazing job, that child feels so happy. Yeah, I did it. They get so happy. Like a father will tell a son, right? Even a teenage son. Don't get it twisted. Don't think teenage sons don't want this. They tell a son, mashallah, you did an amazing job with that. Or someone tells them, you did it really, really cool. They just drew a bunch of squiggly lines. Say, look what I made. And the parent says, that's so amazing. That makes him so happy. A kid, a little 4-year-old, prays Salah, and then a parent or someone else says, that Salah was so amazing. Even though they're looking around like this, they were playing, but they get so happy. Now imagine Allah, who created all of us, who created everything, gave us everything. We get there to the end point, and Allah tells me and you, and may Allah make us amongst them, that your struggle is appreciated. What will happen to that person that moment? That's a Jannah in itself. May Allah grant that to all of us. And so I have 3 minutes left. But one thing that we need to really, really do, brothers and sisters, is at the very least, everyone here can at least do one thing. And that's dua. At the very least, if nothing else, we can actively make dua for all those that are struggling. We can all do that, right? It doesn't cost us $5 to raise our hands. No one's asking you to pull money out and give a donation. But also when those doors open up, inshallah, we should definitely, because they're in desperate need of that, and other brothers and sisters throughout the world. But at the very least, we can make dua. And at the very least, we can contact those who are in power. We can ask them to, call for a ceasefire or something of that sort. Like we can do these things. We can send emails. At the very least, maybe that little act can be a means for us to get to paradise. But at the very least, everyone in here can make dua for them. And the other thing that I'll say, brothers and sisters, is if there's one thing that we see, subhanAllah, when you see some of these videos, you can't even stomach it, right? And so imagine the ones that are actually living it. We have the luxury of turning off the phone and be like, I can't watch this anymore. They don't have that luxury. The question comes, and I'm going to end off with this, is how is it possible that a brother who lost his entire home, his family, everything around him, everything's destroyed around him. And what he says, Alhamdulillah, Ajib. He says, after seeing everything gone, taken away from him, snatched, everything that he worked for, gone in an instant from a missile strike. And he says, all praises to Allah. Thank you, Allah, for everything that you've given me. And then we're over here complaining about the most pettiest things. We're fighting each other over the dumbest things ever. I'm sorry, just be honest. The dumbest things we fight over in the Muslim community. And over there, someone is saying, Alhamdulillah, Ya Allah, thank you for everything that you've given me, after losing everything. If that doesn't shake us to the point and make us realize time is short, and I have a duty to be obedient to Allah, then Allah knows the only other thing that will probably make us change is if Allah brings those same conditions on us. So Allah plans and people plan. And what we see is a lot of non-Muslims now turning towards Islam. Right? Al-Islam ya'lu wa la yu'la alayh. Islam will always be high and it cannot be suppressed. Right? So all of us should make this intention. If I'm not praying at all, today I will pray. These things that we're seeing should wake our iman up, should wake our faith up that I need to learn more. I need to learn my deen. I need to strive more. I need to pray more. Because these are the things ultimately that matters. And we see that in those moments. That no one is there for them. And the only thing that's keeping their heart going and their wills going is what? Is their faith in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. We ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to give us the ability to act upon what we've said, what we've heard. Wa akhiru da'wana alhamdulillah rabbil alamin. الحمد لله نحمده ونستعينه ونستغفره ونؤمن به ونتوكل عليه ونعوذ بالله من شرور أنفسنا ومن سيئات أعمالنا من يهده الله فلا مضل له ومن يضلله فلا هادي له ونشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له ونشهد أن محمدا عبده ورسوله إن الله وملائكته يصلون على النبي يا أيها الذين آمنوا صلوا عليه وسلموا تسليما اللهم صل على سيدنا محمد وعلى آل سيدنا محمد وبارك وسلم عليه اللهم اهدنا فيمن هديت وعافنا فيمن عافيت وتولنا فيمن توليت وبارك لنا فيما أعطيت وقنا واصرف عنا برحمتك شر ما قضيت إنك تقضي ولا يقضى عليك اللهم انصر الإسلام وعز المسلمين اللهم انصر الإسلام وعز المسلمين اللهم انصر المظلومين في كل مكان اللهم انصر المسلمين المستضعفين في كل مكان اللهم إنا نعوذ بك من فتنة المحيا والممات ونعوذ بك من فتنة المسيح الدجال إن الله يأمر بالعدل والإحسان وإيتاء ذي القربى وينهى عن الفحشاء والمنكر والبغي يعظكم لعلكم تذكرون اذكروا الله العظيم يذكركم فادعوه يستجب لكم ولذكر الله أكبر والله يعلم ما تصنعون وأقيموا الصلاة
الله أكبر الله أكبر